Are you stuck at 155? You've never managed to press 160 before, right? How much do you weigh? 65. If you can press 160 at 65 kilos, that's already at a champion level. Load it up to 120, let me see. Load it up to 140 for him. Old school bodybuilders would all press like this. When lowering the bar, lift your head up. When pressing, put your head back down. Do you know why you need to do it this way? It's because his thoracic curve straightens out. When he lifts his head, his thoracic spine can press tightly against the bench. Right? When the front lifts up, the back can get closer. Also, after the sternocleidomastoid muscle lifts the front, it can stabilize the clavicle. Use your phone to tighten and stabilize the clavicle. The pectoralis major is attached below the clavicle. So when you use the pectoralis major to exert force, there are just two things involved. One is that when you tuck your chin, the anterior cervical muscles, which are also attached to the clavicle, and the sternocleidomastoid, which is also attached to the clavicle, both engage. When I tuck my chin, my thoracic spine can curve out and I have support in the back. It's a bit shaky now. We've added 150 more. Let me help you adjust your form. First, put your legs together and grip here. Just hold it the way you usually do. Don't change too much about your upper body. Keep it in this position. For now, don't arch your back in this position. Take a deep breath, fill your lungs, press your legs to the ground and open them up, then pull them back, tightening your hamstrings, pull them back and let them fall to the position. When you lower and lift, what should you do? Press your thoracic spine against the mat. Yes, press your thoracic spine against the mat. When you lift, your entire heel and foot should press down firmly. Yes, that's right. You need to press down with your lower body. Make sure you can really press down and support yourself. Only after you're stable can you challenge yourself further. You also need to fill your lungs completely. How does it feel? It feels uncomfortable to hold your breath, right? Originally, you would take a breath with each rep, correct? Now just go straight to 130 reps per set, or even 150. Just do one like this. In this position, take a deep breath, open your legs, pull them back, and lift up directly. Just lift up directly. He understands now too. So here's what you should do. If you're not used to it, open your legs first and then inhale. I noticed that you can't hold your breath long enough because when you were pressing 110 just now, you already felt uncomfortable holding your breath. That's because I told you to fill your lungs. But when you hold your breath and then open your legs, it wastes some of your breath holding time. So after you open your legs and pull them back, then take a breath. Let's see if that works better. When he's pinned down, if he doesn't lift his head, he loses all his strength. He's still used to his original way of doing things. He prefers it that way. Now at 130, he just got pinned at 150, and now he's pinned at 130. Earlier, that other guy got pinned at 115, and then couldn't lift 100 anymore. Once he changed his technique, he couldn't use his strength. Switching from his original way, he just couldn't exert any power. But if it's a beginner, someone who couldn't really press much before, say he couldn't lift 100, after we make adjustments, the most common result is that he can go straight from 100 to 140. So originally he was pinned at 100, but after making adjustments, he could press 140. Because he didn't train much himself, when we switched him to a different technique, he was able to use his strength. Now, if you go back to your previous technique, what I did was just help you breathe more fully, open up your pelvis more, and make your hamstrings stronger. As for your head, just lift it the way you wanted to before. Don't just lie there. If your thoracic spine is too straight and you're lying flat, you won't be able to exert force, and you'll feel like you can't use your strength. Try it again, but what's the downside of doing it this way? The problem is, if you do it like this, you'll lose your cervical curve. The cervical curve will disappear and your elbow joint will start to hurt. When you press up to 130, it will hurt, and your whole left hand will hurt. Ever since you injured your shoulder during the last chest press, it still hasn't healed. If your elbow joint is injured, have you ever tried pressing like this? You can't exert force this way. You've gotten used to gripping with an open hand and doing the half supine position. It's not that you don't have strength, it's just that when you go above 130, the pain starts here. So when you first start pressing, doesn't it hurt? The first rep doesn't hurt, but by the second rep, it does. Now it's starting to hurt for him. Back when he tried to challenge 170, he had someone assist him, but ever since he injured this area, it hasn't healed. Your elbow joint hurts, right? Then try this. When you're pressing, aren't you in a half supine position? While you're in that half supine position, press these two fingers tightly. Just use your index and middle fingers to grip tightly or press all 4 fingers on the outside firmly. Try it out, because those fingers are responsible for maintaining the stability of the elbow joint. The thumb doesn't really have much to do with joint stability, but the 4 fingers on the outside are what keep the elbow joint stable. Just lift your head as usual and your thumb can rest on top as well, but just make sure those 4 fingers are gripping harder. No problem. Does it hurt like this? It only hurts when you come down from the bar at night, but not when you first get on, because you can't reach it at first. Your arms are short, you can't reach the bar, that's the issue. Let me add it to 150 for you. Earlier you were pressed at 150, so after you straighten your arm, I'll help you come back. But does it still hurt when you come off the bar? At the moment you come off, those 4 fingers need to press down tightly. You need to grip the bar tightly so your elbow joint will be stable. Your elbow joint will be stable. After that, it won't hurt and you'll be able to push. Just now, it only hurt when you came back to the bar, but the whole process before that didn't hurt, right? Okay, that's correct, because with a loose grip or a half grip, this problem occurs. With a half grip, it's always pressing here and the 4 fingers are relaxed. When the 4 fingers are relaxed, the elbow joint is unstable. Many of the muscles on the radial and ulnar sides are attached to these 4 fingers, not to the thumb. The long and short muscles of the thumb do not cross the elbow joint, so tightening the thumb does not provide stability. Only by pressing the 4 fingers on the outside tightly can you maintain elbow joint stability. But if you keep using a loose grip like this, pressing here with your 4 fingers relaxed, your elbow joint will be unstable. That's why it's easy to feel pain when lifting heavy weights. This is the weight he was just holding down. At the moment when you take a deep breath and get ready to lift, the thumb is still here. But at that instant, these 4 fingers need to grip tightly, especially the index and middle fingers, which should be properly aligned. Once you take a full breath, it will be fine. If you loosen your grip, if you let go, if you drop it directly and your fingers aren't tightly gripping, you'll slam it down and that won't work. The moment you pause, it won't work. When you lower the weight, you need to control it eccentrically. You can't just let it drop and slam down. Doesn't that hurt? That's when it goes out of control. As soon as it leaves the rack, the pain starts here. Did you keep it tightly gripped here? When you unrack these 3 fingers, just do a set of push-ups. Even 5 reps will do. Use these 3 fingers to do this exercise. When you use these 3 fingers, it will also hurt. What about these other 2 fingers? Over there, do a set of pull-ups with a bit more weight added, just a bit heavier, and that will be enough. I want to see if his elbow joint doesn't hurt and whether he can push this up. I'm teaching you how to help a client like this adjust. He doesn't have strength in the 4 fingers on the outside, especially the middle and index fingers, because he's gotten used to doing partial pull-ups. If you add a bit more weight, he can't hold on. Actually, the 2 of us have a similar style. Why? Because when I was training, I also liked to challenge myself with heavy weights, and I ended up with the same kind of problems as him. It's just that when various problems came up, I adjusted myself. Both of us have small hands, really small hands. He likes to use a half grip, but he can't wrap his hand around. Does your elbow hurt when you do this? Like this, it doesn't hurt, but when pulling, it hurts a little. Look at our hands. Our styles are the same, and neither of us can grip all the way around. So when doing heavy weights, it's especially easy to put pressure on the joints because the fingers can't exert enough force. That's why I need to train my hand function even better. Try it again. Now I want you to grip with all 4 fingers, wrapping them around your thumb. You need to hook them in like this, grip them all. Take a deep breath and go straight down. When you come up, your feet and hips need to exert force at the same time. Don't grip before you inhale. First, take a deep breath, then tighten your grip with your fingers. Control the descent. No, he can't get up today. It's too painful. He'll lose control right away, so you need to practice more. Do more of this hook grip, because this part is what keeps this area stable, these 4 fingers. You just need to stabilize this. Once it's stable, I suggest you switch from this open grip back to this closed grip. Only by switching back to the closed grip can you stabilize here. If you keep pushing with the open grip for too long, your elbow joint will become unstable and its stability will decrease. Also, do you know what's bad about gripping like this? If you keep pushing like this, your arms won't get bigger and you won't be able to build your arm muscles. Because your fingers can't grip tightly, they can't hold on firmly, and the key issue is instability. Your strength can't be transferred to your biceps and triceps. So even though you can build up your shoulders with this method and maybe your chest, the rest of your muscles won't grow. Your back won't develop, your biceps won't grow, and your triceps won't either. You only have an advantage when pushing, because when you push, you can press with the base of your palm instead of the center of your palm. So why is it that many people don't like to do it this way, not like him? The 2 of us have the same size hands. The smaller your hands are, the easier it is to press with the center of your palm because you can't reach over. You end up pressing with the center of your palm and your wrist collapses. Once your wrist collapses, you can't exert force. So when he grips with an open hand, he can directly push with the base of his palm, and using the base of the palm allows him to generate force. That's why I also have an advantage when pushing like this. I can push with a lot of strength this way. But if I force myself to grip like this, why is it that only by gripping like this can I stabilize my elbow joint so that I can train my biceps, triceps, and other areas to get bigger, to train my back? Otherwise, I wouldn't even be able to hold on. So look at him. If you try to do a pull-up with just 2 fingers, without any counterweight, see if you can even get up. His finger strength is just too weak. It's just not stable enough. I know it's thick. Yeah, you can't do it. Wang Yao's hands are just as big, so it has nothing to do with thickness. Besides, I weigh more than you. I'm 81 kilograms. You're 65 kilograms. So it's just that his fingers haven't been trained. He can't even hang on. So this is the function of the fingers. If they've trained, when they get to this point and try to push further, they'll get injured. So you need to change this in the future. Look, his chest and his arms don't match because all his pushing strength is coming from the base of his palm. When he pushes like this, he can't train his biceps or triceps because his fingers can't grip anymore. Is there a minimum amount of pressure? I use the 4 to challenge him, to let him know that even though pushing with the base of the palm brings out all his advantages, it increasingly suppresses the function of his fingers. So during his training, it's very hard for him to direct the force to his biceps and triceps. I'm using this 4. When I train his triceps, I use the 4 to help him train for cramps and work on his triceps with 4 kilograms. He's very strong. He can push 150, but I look at where he's lacking. For example, he doesn't have the lateral head of the triceps. Do you see? He doesn't have the lateral head. This is the lateral head, but he doesn't have it. What does this mean? It means these 3 fingers can't grip tightly. So I use this weight to help him train this area. When he exerts force like this, the whole horseshoe shape of the triceps doesn't show up. I teach him to focus on training this. The lateral head of the triceps, hold it like this with a lanhua, orchid finger gesture. Support it up like this, then turn it over. See how many reps he can do in a set. This is for training the lateral head of the triceps. Support it with your hand. Press your upper arm against here, and your wrist should be positioned like this. The wrist is placed like this, and take a deep breath in. Lift up and straighten. After straightening here, turn it upward. Keep this finger raised, hold with this hand, and that counts as 1 rep. Lower, lift, and turn it up. Turn it like this. Make sure it doesn't fall. After turning it up like this, it should look like this. Then extend this finger. The body feels awkward. Such a light weight feels terrible. I said, with this, I could make him cramp up during training. It feels like it's going to burst because these 3 fingers can't grip it. Once you grip it like this, you can very specifically transfer the force. Why do we train this? Because the radial side is unstable and the outside of the forearm hurts here. When doing bench presses, it hurts here. Do 12 reps per set. Straighten and turn. Turn it like this and hold. Remember this feeling. At this moment, the lateral head of the triceps tightens and this finger extends. Extend it fully. Extend it. 4. Like this, you always let it drop down. You shouldn't let it drop like this. It should be held exactly like this. 5. Look, like this, it dropped again. You need to hold it firmly like this. 6. Cut, 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 side. What does it feel like? Feels like it's about to cramp. Try your left side, because when doing the bench press, this part is unstable. After training this, you'll be able to do the bench press. Once this area is tightened, if it doesn't hurt, you'll be able to push up. Let me tell you again, after you get up, the dumbbell should be facing the audience like this, turned up like this. Don't turn them like this. Turn it up like this. If you can't bend it that way, just give it a try, okay? Try it. Okay, yes, stretch out all 3 fingers. Yes, turn it up like this and stretch it out toward everyone. Are you okay? Yes, are you okay? That's 2. Put it down. Are you doing it slowly? Yes. Look at his lateral head. Do you see it? This is very targeted. Look. Like this. Turn it up again like this. Are you okay? Lifetime after lifetime. Even after backing off by 150, he's never sweated this much. He's soaked. That's because he's never specifically trained these areas before. Let me tell you, if you're lazy about practicing these small parts, or you ignore them and don't pay attention, it will affect your overall progress. In the end, all the pain and injuries throughout your body actually come from not having built a solid foundation in these basic areas. If the foundation isn't solid, you'll end up coming back around to make up this lesson. Your fingers and toes. That's why I say, look at him, he's so strong. But when I hold 4 kilograms, he can't even do 10 reps. He can barely do 1 proper rep, one that really opens up like this because he can't grip it. He's never trained his fingers and his hands are small. He was born with small hands because he's short, so his hands are proportionate to his body. I, on the other hand, am not proportionate. My hands are much smaller than the average person's, so I have to train these functions especially hard in order to have any chance of building up the muscles above. By working on these things, if you build up your triceps and biceps, your chest and back will be much better than they are now. Your grip strength is just too weak. Look at the two of us. We're the same. You weigh 65 kilograms and you can't even hang on, but I can pull up over 80 kilograms. My fingers aren't any longer than yours. Once you make up for this lesson, your muscle separation will improve. I'm telling you, the more you can't grip tightly in these areas, you're supporting yourself with your joints and using heavy weights, so the muscles you develop are just like paper, superficial muscles. Your muscle definition, separation, fullness, and roundness won't be good. Once you really grip all these details tightly, then when you train the junctions between muscles, you'll be able to fully contract them. For example, at the junction between your biceps and deltoids, if you fully contract it with every rep, you'll be able to fit a finger in there. The separation line is so deep you can fit a finger in it. After you finish cutting water, the boundary will be very clear because I've fully contracted the muscle. Look at how he trains himself. When you come over and do an elbow flexion, bend your elbow to the maximum angle. The tip of your elbow can't lift up. Can you go any further inward? See, he gets stuck right here. He just can't go any further. Try pressing down. Press as hard as you can. See, even when he presses hard, he can't go any further. Did you see that? He's made himself stiff from training, but it's not because his upper arm is so thick that it blocks his forearm. Look at us normally, see? I can press my fist all the way in front of my deltoid. If you hook your wrist, that doesn't count. It has to be straight, see? This way it can go in. Only then, when I do dumbbell or barbell curls, can I fully contract the top of my biceps. You can't see it yourself, so press on mine and see. Or you can go from this side and press it down, see? When I press directly, it sticks right away. But when I press yours, it just gets stuck there. It's blocked. How did you get your arms so big? When he used to train, he used heavy weights and put all the pressure on his joints, using his joints for support. So he ended up overworking his joints. After training like this, the function of all the joints becomes impaired. If you always lift heavy weights and only do half reps, always lifting heavy and doing half reps, you lose the ability to perform full reps. You just can't go down any further. You lose this kind of function. No matter how much weight I lift, I can always squat all the way down and stand back up directly. My functionality remains normal. That's why after I finish squatting, I can immediately do a horse stance. Even when my leg muscles are pumped after squats, I can go straight into it without any warm-up, anytime, anywhere. No need for any preparation. Who needs to warm up for this? Just watch. No warm-up needed. Yeah, I can just go straight into it like this, start right away without warming up, and I dare to squat 300 kilograms on the hack squat. As long as you can control your muscles normally, there's no need to warm up your joints. Who has time for that? Just keep control, grip tightly, let the weight rest on your muscles, not on your joints. No matter which area it is, I can train my joint function to its best, instead of making your function worse the more you train. If you can't even get your empty hand in, how are you going to build muscle? When you're holding a barbell, once you add weight, you can't go any higher. When you reach 90 degrees, you just lower it. When you do dumbbell curls, you can only bring it up this much and that's it. How could you possibly build bigger arms like that? If you don't pay attention to these details, it'll be even harder to fix them later. For all the pull-ups, we have a lot of equipment here, like the seated chest press. There's also the seated chest fly. You have to grip with your hands properly first. One of the most important points in pushing and pulling is that after you grip your hands well, then you start the movement. Only then can you bring your arms together. And when you pull, you can direct the force onto your back. So in the future, when you do back exercises, you should pull like this. Only by pulling can you continuously improve your function. Before you want to do a chest press, you also need to pull for your back. Hook your fingers like this to pull. Let me tell you, for warming up before back training, if you really want to warm up, just use these 3 fingers to hook and pull for your back. This is very effective. If you want to do a chest press, you still need to pull for your back. Just use these 2 fingers to hook and pull for your back. This way, your grip will be more practical, and it's the same for rehabilitation. If someone feels pain at the back of their shoulder, I use these 3 fingers to help them pull for their back. If someone has frozen shoulder and feels pain at the front, I use these 2 fingers, the index and middle fingers, to pull. After pulling, the pain at the front of the shoulder may improve. If it hurts when doing lateral raises, if it hurts when you do this kind of movement, right? If it hurts whether they're standing or sitting, what should you do for them? Do you remember what I talked about this morning? 1 inside, 1 outside, 1 in front, and 1 behind? Just do that and it will be fine. If it hurts when they're standing with their arms out like this, but doesn't hurt when sitting, then just train their legs. If it hurts when standing like this, but goes away as soon as they sit down, and when they do the same movement while sitting, there's no problem, then just focus on training their legs. Only after you've got the grip on all kinds of equipment right can you possibly build up size like him. Even if you get a national team bodybuilding coach to train him, it's still quite difficult to build up his arms because he simply can't grip with his fingers. He simply can't grip with his fingers, so he only has one advantage. When he presses down with the base of his palm, he can work out his chest and shoulders and push up his shoulders. But when it comes to shoulder presses, you're mostly using the anterior and middle deltoid heads, so it's very difficult to train the rear deltoid. You can't build up the rear deltoid unless you can grip with your hands. When you do a back double biceps pose, at this point, his shoulders can't rotate out, can't be displayed. My body fat isn't as low as it used to be, but when you do the back double biceps pose, your deltoids and triceps, only with separation can they be displayed. The rear deltoid is actually split into two parts, and when you rotate, also, in the morning, I weigh 168. That's on an empty stomach. When I'm fasting, my veins don't pop out. Only after I load up on carbs do all the veins really burst out, and that's when the muscles can really show.